Mambo familia angu, mimi ni Eli-Ben-Eli, karibu, habari gani? I am, I'm coming to you from Dallas, Texas, and right now, we are experiencing what I would like to call the North Texas winter. You know, for in between now and maybe the middle of February, we will have a lot of cold days, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right now, the temperature outside is like 22 degrees. Actually, it's in the 30s, but it feels like 22 degrees Fahrenheit. However, Baba Eli is a step ahead. The condo feels nice and toasty warm, and I'm feeling very good. You know, I'm feeling very good about that. I wanted to take an opportunity to make a video about a few subjects. You know, Marwa and his multi-million-dollar fish pond. The king of Nyabohanset, the emperors, you know, the grand poobah, you know, the chief executive of everything, you know, has suddenly decided to get into the fish business. Familia Angu, do you know why this is? You know, necessity is the mother of invention. Suddenly this man throws a party in which he claims he spent a lot of money, slaughtered a lot of animals. By the way, have you noticed something? There are tapes, there are videos showing a quantity of goats and cattle being brought in and out of his compound. All of that stuff about, somebody stole all the goats and cattle. I told you back then and I'll tell you now. Marwa did not want to slaughter those animals. Somebody, probably Rocio Cabrera, El Salvador, the Queen Empress Goddess of Nyabohanset, probably told them, you know what, these animals are worth some money. So they came up with the nonsense about the animals being stolen. Mysteriously now, the great fiesta de esta, the party to end all parties, the parties in which Mazungus came looking like fat, ugly women from Ireland and found themselves handsome husbands. After that party's over, suddenly Marwa is a cattleman. Suddenly he has goats and all kinds of animals, and now he's expanding into the fish business. My dear Familia Angu, beloved, I submit to you that Marwa is no more interested in the fish business than you or I. And I happen to like fish. I'm not setting up a fish farm, however. Let me take an opportunity to say something. My darling women, my beloved brothers, you have to subscribe to my channel if you want to help me out. You know, please do so. If our mutual enemy in this situation is a subscribe button. Everybody's afraid of the subscribe button. I say don't be afraid. Take one finger and poke it hard, and subscribe to my channel. Please also like and comment. What do you think about this rubbish of suddenly Marwa becoming somebody who's into fish? He shows us a dead fish and he says how expensive this fish is, and that some of these fishes are worth more than cattle. I don't believe any of that. I think that Marwa is, I'm going to tell you, Marwa has discovered a sweet spot in life. You know, he has this young, gorgeous-looking woman. Oh, she's not gorgeous in the way of black women, and she has a nose that makes her look like an eagle. But when I saw her dancing the other day, I was looking at those legs and I was saying, not too bad. You know, the point is that Marwa suddenly has a wonderful spot to be in. He's in a location in which everybody adores him. People treat him like if he's, the coming of the Messiah. He's living in his own house, even though the house is a wreck. The roof leaks. There are all kinds of mechanical problems. The toilets don't work. At the same time, he's in a place where he's not having to pay money every night in order to stay there. That's the stupidity of being a traveler. You're going from places to places to make videos, and you're spending a lot of money doing it. But what are you getting from spending that money? You're getting a place to live, and you're getting food to eat. Well, you can do that at home, and you can do that a lot cheaper. So Marwa is looking at a place in which he has a gorgeous girl servicing all of his physical needs. He's living in a house that's wrecked up, but now it's going into the dry season. Rain isn't going to be that much of a problem. I think Marwa is looking at this place and saying, and what else? His videos get looked at. Some of those videos that he made while he was on the road, no one was looking at them. Suddenly his videos are being looked at. Why leave? Why go on the road? Why go spend money when he's actually broke? You see, did Marwa receive a lot of presents? Yes, he received a lot of presents. Did Marwa benefit from those presents? Of course he benefited from those presents. On the other hand, Marwa had to pay a certain amount of money out of pocket for construction costs, for material costs. And I honestly believe that the man who likes to boast that he is richer than the president of Kenya really doesn't have any money at the moment, to go traveling with. And for a period of time, if you remember, heck, it might even be up to the present, YouTube was not paying him any money. So Marwa doesn't have the money to go running around the world. The party was a failure. Did people have fun at it? Of course. Anywhere that people are served free food, they're going to have a good time. But was the party a failure? Yes. He expected armies of Mazungus and their women not wearing bras or anything to come and to have sex under the trees and all kinds of nonsense. None of that happened. You had a bunch of hungry villagers from Ugali Alley, which is what I call that region of the world in which everybody eats ugali. You had an army of Ugali Alley local yokels coming to eat, and many of them were eating free food. The party was, the net income that came from the party was very small. So Marwa is not in any rush to travel. Be looking to see him remain in that house as long as possible. As things stand currently, Marwa is balancing economy with becoming boring, because the videos are getting kind of boring. There's not really much going on of any interest, but people are still watching. Pretty soon people will move on to other things. Beloved, recently a question has arisen, and I take no position in regarding that question. There are two questions. First, there's a question about who is Sir Edwards? Why is he hiding his identity? Sir Edward, come out. We want to know who you are. We want to see you. We want to question you. We want to consider your motives. We believe that Sir Edward was part of an elaborate scam. However, this gets to the real question at issue. However, the second question becomes, how has Fellow the Boy managed to amass what he has amassed by way of wealth, let's call it? He has a motorcycle, he has land, he's building a house. How did all of that happen? Where did the money to do all of that come from? Okay, folks, let's discuss something that should be very obvious. The economy of that area, the economy of Marwary County, is an economy that depends on it being almost like a no man's land. It sits in between two countries, Tanzania and Kenya. Oh, it's right there by the border. Okay, and what is the most valuable asset that is produced in that part of the world? Well, of course we hear that there's gold mining and everything. That's fine, but there's a problem with gold, and that is that wherever you have gold, you have a lot of security and police and everything. Plus, it's not really that big an industry in that area. Animal husbandry is an even bigger business. Cattle, goats, livestock. That's a big industry around there. So some people are assuming, or some people are saying, what does a very, very clever young man like Fellow the Boy, quick head for business, thinks very quickly on his feet, what does a man of that kind, and he's physically very small. He's physically very, very small. That's important. And it'll become apparent to you how that's important in a moment. So this man is taken in by a very generous or a kindly cattle broker for whatever the reason. Or, a minor cattle broker, but a cattle broker. We see Fellow the Boy's foster father leading cattle to be slaughtered. We see him with cattle in the background. He's not a big one, but he's a minor, cattle broker. The thing about somebody like that is that the immediate question becomes, where will the cattle come from? And you notice something? People don't bother that man. They do not go anywhere near him. Mama Maria's father-in-law got beaten up by cattle rustlers who were attempting to take his cattle, but Fellow the Boy's foster father, nobody goes near him. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that if you stop and consider, the reason that nobody goes anywhere near him is because he is what? What business is very profitable in that part of Kenya or in any economy of that kind? Cattle rustling. Okay, I submit to you that all of this rubbish with Fellow the Boy being super generous, which he is also serves as a smokescreen. There is a channel called The Real Skinny with Joey Merlino. Joey Merlino is an Italian mafia member in Philadelphia. And they said that he was ruthless back in the day. Right now, he's on YouTube. He's not really doing much of anything but doing YouTube but back in the day, he was a very, very effective, brilliant gangster. He has a lot in common with Fellow the Boy. He, too, is very, very small, very quick, very clever. The point is this. Okay. Joey Merlino, when he was the most active as a crime lord, always gave food and presents to poor people. Why is that? Why would he do that? He does that because it is a convenient screen. People are looking at that, and nobody wants to go any further because everybody respects a man who helps the poor. That's number one. Number two, supposing that there is hunger in your house, and along comes a man and gives you clothes, gives you food, takes care of you and everything, what are you going to do for that man? Any information that you can give him that's useful to him, you will give him. You'll tell him about cattle. You'll tell him about people, what people are talking about. You'll honor that man. You, in effect, become a servant of that man in response, in your gratitude for his generosity. Okay. Do you for 1 minute think that all of the women that fellow has helped, built houses for, built toilets for, dug wells for, do you think that they would turn a blind eye and see somebody trying to do something for to fellow and not tell him, fellow, this is going on, be careful? Do you think that, let's say, they know that somebody has a certain amount of cattle that they may not have acquired illegally, that she wouldn't approach fellow and say, hey, just gossiping, so-and-so has a lot of cattle, blah, 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 blah. And then fellow, all of those friends that he has, mysterious friends, that he wouldn't tell them, hey, go to such and such a place, get the cattle. And then fellow gets a part of whatever they get. I'm just saying, I'm just speculating. I remember back in the day when all of the reactors had placed Davy Jr. and Uncle Mo on a pedestal. Some of them were saying, oh, he's the love of my life. Oh, Uncle Mo this, oh, Uncle Mo that, until they discovered that these men were crooks. You gotta be very careful with putting anybody in the community of Nyabohanse on a pedestal like if they're little gods. Okay, let me explain something to you that you may not understand. Where people are very, very poor, crime will have its place. Okay, where people perceive themselves as being very poor, the willingness to commit a crime, is a lot higher than in other places. Okay, that doesn't mean that these are bad people. That doesn't mean that these are evil people. It means that these are people that have needs, and needs that can be dealt with money. Okay. Fellow the Boy is a Robin Hood-like character who steals from the rich and gives to the poor, but why does he do it? I think he does it, number one, because he really cares about the people that are having problems. So number two, if you want a community of women, poor women, their children, their friends, their relatives, all a network of people looking out for you, taking care of you, giving you information, telling you be careful. These people are saying this about you, but you look out for so-and-so. Do what Fellow the Boy is doing. Don't think of Mama Maria as just Mama Maria. Think of Mama Maria, her sister wives, her cousins, her blood sisters, her aunts, all her brothers, all of those people. When they hear, oh, did you hear what Fellow the Boy did for Mama Maria? Oh yeah, he's helping her and everything. All of those people become part of the network of friends of Fellow the Boy. So it is my contention that, there are two benefits to being a very generous person in the community. Number one, it wins you the respect of the community. Number two, everybody in that community becomes your eyes and your ears. Okay? Everybody in that community warns you if there's a problem. And I have never been a criminal, never have had an interest in being a criminal, but I'll tell you one thing. There was a period in my life when I was at church in which I was very, very generous to people. And that's exactly how it works. All of those people will come to me, oh, my brother, listen, thank you so much for what you did. Listen, be careful with such and such and blah, 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 blah. They tell you things. They tell you, they give you information. And, most of you may not have thought of it this way, but information is power. Information is power. Okay, having said all of that about, the thing that I'm telling all of you is the following. Don't be surprised if you discover that there are more sides to Fellow the Boy than you are seeing right now. Fellow the Boy is a little bit of a snob. He has his friends and he has his villagers, but he has Mazungus who give him things, but everybody else, he's not that friendly with. Don't be surprised if this turns out to be another Davy Jr. and Uncle Mo situation. All of those reactors that were worshiping them ended up looking like fools. Uncle Mo turned on them, Davy turned on them. They ended up looking like fools. Be careful, okay? Don't trust people too much. That entire group of people around a suspect. Joint hand, green trees, or whatever that's called, Zach Jr. or Zach Sr. or Zach Adventures or Tenga Jr. I mean, that whole lot of them are, I don't know. I remember at one point I used to love joint hand, green trees. And then they started making disparaging remarks about people in my position. Those people are friends with those people. They're not very friendly to anybody else. And I believe that they basically will prove to be crooks in the long run. Here in America, the politics of America are unchanging. The burial took place of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, and the President of the United States, President Biden, he came to Texas and he attended her funeral. Very nice. Currently here in Dallas County, we have a world-renowned preacher by the name of T.D. Jakes, who is caught up in a scandal in which it is being said that Mr. Jakes participated in parties in which the rapper King, the very wealthy, fabulously wealthy Mbezi called P. Diddy or T. Diddy, whatever the hell his name is, he throws parties in which men show up and enjoy the company sexually of other men. Anyway. This preacher, who's supposed to be a man of God, apparently is a part of that whole thing. And it's very, very disturbing, because it essentially means that he pretends to be a man of God, but in reality stands for nothing. And then there's always the creature that I have watched very carefully lately, connected very intimately to the nation of Israel, and a big supporter of bombing Gaza in Palestine, and that is Congressman Richie Torres. And the big question that I have about him, and I think I'll dwell more on this in the future, is how does a man go from being a pauper, living in public housing, living on the charity of the government, how does he go from that to being in Congress and becoming very, very wealthy? Well, there's an organization called AIPIC that has supported him all along. But, more than that, my question remains, why and how has his net worth changed since he got into Congress? How has he become a wealthy man on the salary of a congressman? A congressman in America makes a good living, but not enough of a good living to become a wealthy man almost overnight. Something is wrong here, my friends. My darling brothers and sisters, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. Help your Babu Eli out. I need all of you. I need your assistance. May all of you have a wonderful Juma. May all of you have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom. And keep me in your prayers. And I will see you probably during the weekend. In the meantime, from my heart, Asante Asana for having watched these videos. Kwaheri.